A strange call broke my wedding night. My name is Clara. The wedding lights were still shining when Daniel and I entered our hotel room. The smell of roses filled the air. My heart beat fast. I had dreamed of this night since I was a little girl. The silk dress touched my skin, and my hands shook when Daniel held them. We were finally alone, but my mind was full of hope, fear, and sweet thoughts of love. Daniel smiled, his eyes soft. He placed the veil aside and whispered, "You are mine now." My cheeks grew warm, and I looked away shyly. He poured 2 glasses of wine, the red liquid glowing under the lamp. We laughed as we clinked glasses. For a moment, everything felt safe, like the world outside had vanished. It was only us, the bed, and the promise of a new life together. But then, just as Daniel touched my cheek, the phone rang. A sharp, loud sound cut through the quiet. My heart jumped. Who would call at this hour? Daniel frowned and reached for the phone. I wanted him to ignore it, but his hand was quick. "Hello?" he said in a low voice. His smile faded. I could not hear the other side, but I saw his eyes grow dark. He turned his back to me and whispered into the phone. I sat still, my chest heavy. I wanted to ask, but the words stuck. His shoulders were tense. After a moment, he hung up. "Just a mistake call," he said, forcing a smile, but I knew he was lying. His voice shook and his fingers tapped nervously on the table. My dream night was already breaking apart. I tried to hold his hand, but he pulled away. "Clara, give me a minute," he said and walked to the balcony. I stood by the bed, feeling cold, even in my white dress. The silence hurt. I thought maybe it was his family, maybe some friend. But why would he hide? The lamplight flickered, and my chest filled with questions. My wedding night was turning into a puzzle. When he returned, I smiled weakly. "Was it bad news?" I asked. He shook his head too fast. Then he kissed me on the forehead, but his lips were cold. He held me close, yet his eyes wandered to the door again and again. I tried to rest my head on his chest, but even his heartbeat felt strange, not steady like before. Something was pulling him away from me. I walked to the mirror, fixing my dress, hoping to catch his eyes. He looked but quickly turned away. I placed my hand on his arm. "Daniel, we are married now. Tell me." He sighed but said nothing. Then, as if the night itself wanted to test me, the phone rang again. He rushed to answer, his voice sharp this time. He stepped outside the room to speak. I stood frozen. My body burned with anger and fear. What secret could not wait till morning? I opened the door a little and heard a woman's voice on the other side. Soft, broken, yet urgent. My heart cracked. Was this a lover? My legs shook. I closed the door and sat on the bed, tears stinging my eyes. The dream of my wedding night turned into a storm of doubt. When Daniel came back, I pretended to be calm. He touched my shoulder. "Clara, trust me," he said, his voice heavy. But how could I, when the shadow of another woman stood between us? I wanted to scream, but my lips only whispered, "Why her voice?" He froze, then sat down beside me, silent. His silence was louder than any word. Minutes felt like hours. I tried to drink the wine, but the taste was bitter now. Daniel took the glass from me gently, his hand shaking. "I love you," he said. His words were strong, but his eyes were weak. I touched his face, searching for truth. "Then why the lies?" I asked. He held my hand but said nothing. The night was full of broken pieces. I walked to the window, watching the city lights. My tears blurred them into stars. I remembered my mother's words, "Marriage is trust." But where was trust tonight? Daniel stood behind me, his arms almost reaching, then falling back. He looked like a man trapped between two worlds. I felt like a bride left alone in her own wedding story. The third call came. This time I ran to the phone before him. I pressed it to my ear. A weak female voice said, "Please, don't hang up. I need Daniel." My hand turned cold. Daniel grabbed the phone away, but it was too late. The words had entered my heart like knives. He ended the call and faced me. His eyes begged, but I needed answers. "Who is she?" I asked, my voice trembling. He held his head, breathing hard. "Clara, it's not what you think." I laughed through my tears. "Then tell me what it is." My dress felt heavy, like chains around me. Daniel walked to me and held my shoulders. "She is someone from my past," he said, but his voice broke. He was still hiding something. I pulled away. My body wanted distance, but my heart still longed for him. I remembered the vows we had spoken just hours ago. Was it all fake? My hands touched the ring on my finger. It felt sharp now, not soft. "Daniel, I can't live with lies," I whispered. His eyes watered. For the first time, I saw him cry. Finally, he spoke. "Clara, she is sick. She has no one else. She calls me when she feels she will fall apart. I didn't tell you because I didn't want to ruin our night." His voice cracked. "She was my ex. I left her long ago, but she still leans on me." My chest ached. It was not love he hid, but pity, care, and fear. I sat down, my tears soft now. Part of me was angry, part of me broken, but part of me still saw the man I loved. "Why not tell me before?" I asked. He knelt in front of me. "Because I was afraid you'd leave me," he whispered. I touched his face. "I am your wife now. Don't hide from me." The room felt warmer again. He held my hands tightly. "Clara, I choose you. I promise, no more secrets." I looked in his eyes and saw truth at last. The pain was real, but so was the love. I leaned on him, and he kissed my forehead. This time, his lips were warm. The phone stayed silent now, as if even it knew our hearts needed peace. We sat by the window together, watching the city sleep. He told me stories of his past, of mistakes, of fears. I listened, sometimes angry, sometimes sad, but always close. With each word, the distance between us grew smaller. I touched his hand and smiled faintly. Our wedding night was not perfect, but it was real. The bed waited, the roses still smelled sweet, and the night was not yet gone. Daniel kissed me gently. No rush, no lies, only truth. My heart softened. I felt like I was falling in love all over again, but this time with the man behind the mask, the man who finally showed me his wounds. The night that broke us also bound us. When morning light touched our faces, I looked at him and whispered, "We begin new today." He smiled, tired but honest. The strange calls were gone, the mystery solved. What stayed was love, raw and tested. My wedding night was not the dream I wanted, but it became the truth I needed. And truth, I learned, is stronger than roses or rings.